are three kinds of people in the world when it comes to the Sig Sauer SG series of rifles. Yeah, I'm talking about the Switzerland side of Sig Sauer, not the US side.
Switzerland?
And yes, I'm dividing humanity for dramatic effect. First, there's the indifferent. They know it exists and couldn't care less, honestly. The second is the curious passives. They've seen one in a store or a movie, they nod, file it away, and then move the hell on. Then there's the third kind, the quiet little psychopaths, I like to call them. I count myself in this group here. And they're borderline obsessed in ways that don't make for good small talk. These are the people who will spend an afternoon arguing whether the proprietary mag is art or a poor life choice. In America, those conversations usually happen in whispers because JDI, who is the sole importer of these rifles, it's a small and strange club. This rifle is the 5.53. That's the one I'm talking about, and the other ones like it in the series. But this is the SG563. It's the new member of that club, and for the obsessed, it's equal parts temptation and justification. And I'm gonna try to explain why it gets under our skin. Let me start by telling you where the SG family actually came from, not just what it thinks it is. You see, the roots trace back to Switzerland's SG550 series, the service rifle of a country that expects every citizen, whether farmer or banker, to pick it up and use it in snow, cold, and a variety of weird conditions. The SG550 was built for conscripts, not experts. It's easy to maintain, reliably accurate, and able to survive a lot of abuse. From that platform came the shorter SG553 variant, built for tighter spaces and specialization. Engineers compressed the same core, gas piston, rugged internals, polymer furniture, AR-style ergonomics layered over AK-like robustness, and produced something that could live in the real world. When export and civilian versions developed, they carried that DNA across borders, precision tempered by stubborn practicality of sorts. In short, this platform was never meant for show. It was meant to survive, adapt, and carry on. And that voice is audible in the SG563. What's different? The short version? The lower. Now, before you finish watching this video, I want to quickly talk about the hearing protection that I'm wearing in this video. These are the AKT1 blackout wireless in-ear hearing protection with Bluetooth. I like to call them the AirPods for shooters. I say for shooters because AirPods don't protect your hearing, but these do. They are hands down my favorite in-ear hearing protection that I've ever used, and I mean ever. They have an NR 25 dB auto noise blocking. They can enhance your hearing by 6 times. They have advanced noise cancellation, Bluetooth connectivity with high fidelity speakers so you can take phone calls and listen to music. They have a battery life of 10 hours with an additional 30 hours in the charging case, and they're low profile and stylish enough to fit in not only at the gun range, but in your gym, while you're studying, working, at school, at home, you name it. I'm in love with these things, and now they're finally available on my store at shop.mrcolionnoir.com, or you can just click the link in the description section of this video. All the ammo used in this video was brought to you by Noir, maker of the most innovative, most accurate, and most effective bullets and ammunition in the industry. There was a time when owning one of these meant loving proprietary magazines like a person loves artisan cheese, expensive and rare and worth an argument at dinner. However, the new lower says, fine, be bougie if you want, but also maybe buy some mundane, dependable mags that won't ruin your weekend. Pull a pin and slide the piece off, and the proprietary mag works just fine. Slide the piece back on, put the pin on, and now you can run AR-15 mags with no problem. That choice, pure delicious flexibility, is the whole point. Flex with collector's mags or run 10 packs of grocery store mags and not be emotionally bankrupt. That modularity changes what this rifle is allowed to be. As far as the barrels, don't sleep on this. The one I've got here in front of me is a prototype. This whole thing is a prototype. One-piece barrel with a milled-on flash hider. I know what you're thinking. Ew, gross. But that's just the prototype talking. You see, the production version of this rifle that will be imported will be different. It'll be a 2-piece barrel, removable flash hiders, and standard US threads, 1/2x28. That means you can actually build around this rifle without needing a degree in black market wizardry. You want to suppress it? Go ahead. You can do whatever you need to do from the front end of this rifle as far as your imagination and thoughts are concerned. This particular example I've got is the long barrel 5.63, roughly a 13.8-inch barrel, but 5.63 family isn't a one-trick pony. Within that 5.63 lineup, you get 3 offered lengths. You get a short 8.9-inch, a mid 11.9-inch, and a long 13.8-inch. The 5.63 has been approved by the ATF in all of those barrel lengths. So, considering how much I love the previous 5.53, how does this one shoot? Well, short stroke piston systems have a personality. You feel the internals doing their mechanical dance. The 5.63's impulse is long and polite rather than a sharp slap. It's like comparing a dry martini to a tequila shot. It's slower in feeling, but faster in rhythm. The rifle doesn't punish you for stringing shots together either. It rewards you for doing it. Now, the trigger story deserves its own chapter. The older 5.53 triggers were, let's just say, divisive. You see, this trigger is adjustable and tactile, but it was built to work with gloves in alpine conditions. Big faces, long take, a mushy pre-travel that lets you feel the wall even with thick mitts on. In cold weather, that design makes perfect sense. You can find a stop and press through with gloves. In bare hands, in humid Texas, it felt kind of overbuilt. Big and squishy and not the kind of crisp trigger that most Americans associate with precision. It leaned into its gross motor skill physics on purpose. But now, the 5.63 version fixes that balance. You see, the new trigger is clean, crisp, and it lets you run surprisingly fast strings given the rifle's inherent personality. It is a proper apology from the platform. It gives you a predictable and pleasant trigger. And if the factory trigger isn't your thing, the rifle's shift towards AR compatibility means you can drop in whatever AR style trigger you prefer. That option is the real win. So if you don't like this, swap it out. Now, the real evolution here isn't some flash on the handguard. It's the lower. You see, the push-in button magazine release is meant to be the small miracle of sorts. Whether you're running AR pattern magazines or the Swiss Rock End stacks, the idea is that they drop free. Now, this particular prototype, when you're running the proprietary mags, didn't exactly do that, but I'm gonna attribute that to the fact that this is a prototype. So when I get a real one in hand, then I can go and make sure and verify that shit. But nonetheless, the idea is for all the types of magazines that go in this gun to be able to drop free with just the push of a button. Now, the lower turns this into a working rifle. Not that it didn't work before, but working for us Americans. See, the full ambidextrous aspect of this rifle is where it counts. You see, you got bolt lock, bolt release, mag drop from either side, and a 45-degree safety throw that I absolutely love. That's straight AR DNA grafted onto Swiss bones. Because the designers leaned into modularity, a lot of main parts now play nicely with AR components, grips, stocks, and common interfaces, which means you can make the rifle look and feel like you instead of a catalog photo. However, the one stubborn old habit is the reciprocating charging handle on the right side. It's still there, and it still reciprocates. If you're right hand dominant, that's kind of fine. You can kind of sit here and run it the way you want all day long. But if you're left-handed, you gotta do weird over the top or under, you know, all this other crap. I mean, I guess you can do this too if you really wanted to, but nonetheless, it's still geared towards more so for right-handed people. Now, it doesn't ruin the rifle. It just keeps one foot in the platform's origins, which to some people that's a plus. To some people, it's kind of an annoyance. I've never really heard anybody just hate it though. And me personally, I can live with it. It kind of gives the rifle more character if you ask me. Now let's talk handguards. You see, the old 5.53s shipped with everything from thin plastic sleeves to aftermarket quad rails. You could grab M-lock kits onto them later, like I have on this one right here, but you always felt like it was more of a retrofit because it was. It kind of felt a little loose, kind of gives you that this wasn't meant to be kind of vibe under your hands. You see, the 5.6.3's rail is different. It isn't a hopeful mod, it feels monolithic. We're not a monolith! Like it was carved with the rifle in mind. Solid underhand runs, no weird wiggle, no bolt-on vibe. That one change alone makes the whole rifle behave like a different animal. Same bloodline, suddenly coherent though. Practicality is the quiet undercurrent. With the new lower, you can run M4 pattern mags, Swiss proprietary mags, and a handful of third-party options folks already use. Duramax style mags, for example. One lower can serve multiple uppers if you own previous SG uppers. They can play together, like one. That's efficient and a little smug in the best way possible. So the shortlist pros: modular magazine options, removable threaded barrels, real ambidexterity on controls, a rail that actually belongs, and a trigger that finally stops asking for forgiveness. And as far as the cons, you can argue the reciprocating charging handle remains on the right. The old proprietary mags are still beautiful and pricey if you insist on looking like you live in a museum. And if you hate character, you'll probably hate this rifle. Here's the bottom line. The SG563 kept the voice of the platform, the oddness, the engineering choices that make it sing, and it finally learned to behave like a tool. It didn't sell out, it grew up, at least for American standards. You gotta remember that. Swiss kind of require different things, but from an American standpoint, it grew up. It's the kind of rifle that makes you grin at the range, that makes you correct strangers politely, that makes you want to tinker and also to just shoot it. So, my final advice: buy it if you want personality married with utility. Don't buy it if you want a bland, forgettable box. Life is too short to shoot boring guns as far as I'm concerned. I'm gonna put that on a shirt. But before I do that, go ahead and click the link in the description section and grab you a Right to Bear Arms hat. Yeah, you know what it meant, did you, till I said it? Yeah, I got dirt on you, doggy. Yes, click the link, click the link. I got hats, shirts, drinkware, you name it. Right to Bear Arms.